What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dueling Pages podcast. Finally, we had to step. You can't laugh right away, like when I'm mid intro. You dig?
Can
You
you
can't,
lagged,
it always
so it
fucks me
made
up.
your dueling really weird, and it was funny.
Anyways, we finally stepped foot into the Marvel Universe, well, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be exact. And to start us off, we brought Miller back for like the fourth time to talk about Captain America because he loves Mr. Steve Rogers.
I do. This is true. I cannot beat these allegations.
Neither can I. Captain America tattoo.
I'm not quite that committed, but
Why not?
I don't have any Marvel tattoos.
I was gonna say I just don't have any tattoos. Those things are expensive.
They are.
Miller, would you get a Captain America tattoo if I paid for it tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah,
Not
I
the
would-
money, buddy.
Oh God, no. Jesus, we're not there yet.
I was gonna say, I do have ideas for tattoos that I would like hypothetically get if I had the money for it, and Captain America is among them.
I want a
Real.
neck tattoo.
Are you gonna
Something
get your
I've
own
always thought
logo
about-
right there, like Cody Rhodes? Because you got to prove you're a good human by being a narcissist.
No. Because my logo currently is me being upset about CM Punk.
Yeah. Shout out to that stream.
Oh, the whole thumbnail from that video just plastered on the side of your neck like a big brick.
I have no idea what I want for a neck tattoo, but I want a neck tattoo. Anyways, that's not the point of this. We are talking about the Boy Scout of the Marvel Universe. The first Avenger. The Star Spangled Band, whatever it's fucking. I'm trying to think nicknames for Captain
Star-Spangled
America.
Man.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I can't remember.
Discord. It was having fun. Yeah, the Star Spangled Man with a plan. What is your plan today?
Yeah. My plan for today is to talk about it with you two. Duh.
So
That's what we do here.
I know by the time this episode comes out, we haven't talked about Iron Man yet. But I do like how the origin for both of them is mirrored so perfectly in these movies. Like, almost bar for bar. It's really funny. It's been a long time since I've watched them basically back to back, but we had to for this.
That is our job. Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah. It's been a while since we.
Oh my God. We haven't recorded a Dueling Fates episode in over a month. I've forgotten what I'm doing. Miller, lead. You know what you're doing. You haven't recorded content in 3 months. You've got this.
I can't do anything. Discord is being horrific right now on my end. I don't like literally the last 3 seconds, the last not 3 seconds, like 60 seconds just went. I find it really funny. Captain America, Iron Man, Miller, do thing. Like that's what came
Nice.
through on my
Okay.
We love that.
I was saying how Captain America and Iron Man's origins are the same in the two movies. They're like shot for shot the same.
In what way? I haven't watched Iron Man in a long time, so
Well, they
I'm
both
not
have,
as fresh with it as you are.
the old man, Erskine, and the fuck is Homeboy's name? As
I
like
see what you're trying
they're
to
getting
say.
like it is. They're not like the exact same, but it is like shot for shot the
I get what
same
you
type
mean.
of thing.
Yeah.
Very parallel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, and I think the difference between the two of them is really interesting. Honestly, is my favorite part about this movie, and it's the fact that out of like the early Marvel movies, right? Like I honestly I can't speak to Incredible Hulk because I've never seen the Incredible Hulk, the original one, which I know Grayson loves, and he's going to be angry at me for. But like you look at Iron Man, you look at Thor. Both of the titular characters in those two movies are like very arrogant superheroes that become less arrogant as the movie goes on, right? And then you have Captain America, who starts off as this very insecure superhero who gets little by little more confident, but still at the end of the day is like humble enough to understand his flaws and his issues and what limits him, even if he doesn't have any physical limitations anymore. So like, I do think this movie compares well with Iron Man when you look at the two of them side by side, not only from that perspective, but also just how different they are and how well it establishes the eventual relationship between the two characters. Because again, you have the straight man Steve Rogers with Tony Stark being more of the, I don't know, I guess the asshole is the best way to put it. I'm sure there's a more technical term or something. But yeah, I think it's a good mirror. It's a good complimentary movie for sure.
I also, just as an origin for Cap, I know it's not really changed from the comics, but I do love the like specific reason that he wants to be a soldier is entirely the I don't like bullies thing, when both of the like creators of Captain America were very bullied for creating him, because like weirdly at the time we weren't really in World War II and weren't fighting Germany, and then like the first fucking book he's beating the shit out of Hitler, and you know the weirdos didn't love that, which I don't want to talk about 1940s America. But yeah, I just love the I don't like bullies thing, and I love all the effort they went through to make CGI Skinny Steve so good. I was watching a whole thing about that earlier today, actually, like how they'd reshoot the scene like 3 different times, once with a body double to like get people right, and then once with Chris Evans so he could like fully act it out, and then once like in an empty room so they could do all the CGI later. That's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I remember a story being told about that where like they brought the shot to executives where Steve transforms, and they were like, where'd you find an actor that could grow height and grow that many muscles? They were astounded that they could possibly do that with computers, which is, I think, fucking
That's
hilarious
so
that people are that befuddled by CGI. Still, it's fantastically done. Like, Ed's a really well done, like, if I didn't know who Chris Evans was before this, I'd be like,
How'd they do
fuck?
that? Yeah. It holds up shockingly well. At least that part. There's some stuff later that doesn't as much. Some
Like,
of the explosions are really bad. Like, it's just like 1970s level, this is awful.
But I think there's a certain charm to that. Yeah. Because this movie really does not feel like a modern movie.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like, it really does feel like it was made, you know, not quite in the 40s, obviously. Yeah, I was going to say a little bit later than the 40s, but yeah, like it does have that vibe to it. Like there, for example, you look at the opening shot where they're finding Captain America in the ice, and I can't remember the Spielberg movie for the life of me, but it's almost like a shot-for-shot recreation of one of the scenes from a Spielberg movie. And then some of the more whimsical elements of this movie, like the motorcycle chases, the big evil guns and stuff, almost feel like they're straight out of an Indiana Jones movie, which would have been inspired by 1940s movies. Yeah. And I think it's really, really beautiful how well they captured the feel of an older movie for this character, given how important the older culture and older vibe overall is for Steve Rogers. Like that was one of the standouts for me rewatching, and it was something I hadn't thought about. And then I noticed the motorcycle chase scene matching up with one of the old Indiana Jones movies, and I was like, oh, okay, that's something. And I looked into it more, and I found out about the other Spielberg movie. I want to, maybe it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I don't know that that's right. But either way, like, I agree that some of the like CG or whatever later movie with the explosions doesn't look fantastic, but it's fitting. Like, I think there's a certain charm to that I really liked from it.
Fair enough.
I think I talked to the geek about this at some point in time, probably off camera, on camera, I have no idea. But the first phase feels so differently from the rest of the phases because well, before they weren't Disney yet, but like they all had a separate feel, but they all felt like the same universe. Like if you put them back to back, but they all felt so, for lack of a better term, segregated from each other because of their feel and their vibe. Like this was is a 40s propaganda film for, or like just like one of those types of like zany science fiction films, and you go to Iron Man, and it's this very much more militaristic, like gritty, like we were dealing with like the Dark Knight and Transformers and stuff like that. So like all these movies feel so separated, but they feel all like the same. It's weird how they were able to do it in phase one.
And I think to go along with that point, in my opinion, at least, the MCU is at its best when they're not trying to make superhero movies. They're trying to make a movie in a specific genre and plugging a superhero into that genre. Like, obviously, this is a great example. Ant-Man is one of my personal favorites. That's like a spy heist movie that just so happens to be about a superhero. Like, I really, really like when they do that. And I think that's when this franchise as a whole is at its best. And again, in my biased opinion, because this is one of my favorite movies ever, this is the best example of that. Like, I could look at this movie even without the large grand scale of the MCU and just say that's a good World War II movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, Saving Private Ryan, but for what it is, I think it's pretty good.
I love this film. Like I remember when I was younger, this was my least favorite for a long time, probably because it was like, yeah, because it felt like it was so disconnected. But like as I got older, I realized I was stupid. I also didn't watch Empire for 10 years. So like,
yeah.
It changed. But no, this is.
And like, I don't know. I always loved this. I loved Miller's Completely Frozen. This is so fun. I love Discord.
Discord doesn't want to.
Dude, it really doesn't. I'm dying. It's great.
We're all dying.
Well, no, Miller is a very happy man.
Yeah, he's just enjoying his time here.
Yeah. I don't really want to get into what I was going to say until it lets him back in. Bray Wyatt style.
I'm going to get into it with you. Oh, there he is.
Whoa, but Gangnam style.
Huh?
Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was going to say is I always loved this movie. Maybe this is just because I was the poor little bullied kid growing up, but I love the beginning of this movie so much. Like, Skinny Steve and his just, I want to do the right thing all the time, but a lot of the time I can't thing, but he's going to try anyways. And him and Dr. Erskine is just so good. I love all of those conversations, all of it. It's so good. I also love the little detail. This is skipping forward just a little bit, but like military base, the grenade scene when it's, Steve immediately jumping on it. I also love that the only other person that was going to is Peggy. So perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
And then they used that for a What If episode.
Yeah. The concept of Steve early on is truly like everything I love about the Captain America character. Like you already brought up the, I don't like bullies. Like that scene, the first scene he has with Dr. Erskine is like the quintessential Captain America moment in my head. Before he gets his powers, before he's anything, he's just straight up the guy who wants to do the right thing. And, I really appreciate that we're shown that this isn't just from like, a perfect moment of like selflessness or whatever, because him and Bucky, their little moment kind of alludes to the fact that one of the big reasons why Steve is so gung-ho about stay off the little guy is because he wants to prove that he isn't just the little guy, that he can, fight and be something, and almost like, not to say he has selfish reasons. He's not, Tony Stark like in the first movie where everything he's doing is for himself, at least at the start, and then it evolves. But like the idea that there is a little bit of that to show that there are like cracks in the armor of the perfect Boy Scout or whatever, I thought was a really nice detail as well. It's just so perfect. Like, this is the perfect superhero origin movie, especially at the beginning. And to Grayson's point earlier about not being a big fan of this when he was younger, I can understand that given how slow this movie starts. Because obviously, as an adult, we can sit back and appreciate, oh, okay, this is really good character development. This is really good building for Steve relationships. Whereas a kid, you're probably like, what the hell? I wanted to watch the big man with the shield beat people up. Why am I watching someone that's like smaller than me get his ass beat?
Well, it's like also we don't really get to the action until he attempts to take over the Hydra base to save the Highland Commandos and Bucky. Like, that's when the movie really kicks into its like action-packed gear, and that's like 45 minutes, an hour in. Like, we're nearly halfway through the film already, and now we're officially kicking in. But like that whole beginning section of building Steve up as basically like a dancing monkey, as he draws, is so important to his character, to where he eventually doesn't, like, he refuses to be taken like a joke anymore.
Yeah. I want to go back just a bit though. Right after he gets the serum and like just gets out, Erskine dies and he's chasing that spy through the streets. I love it's a very subtle thing, but I love how clumsy he is in his new body immediately.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck, I'm like bigger and taller and I don't know what I'm doing. But there's also a little detail on the instrument panel while he's getting the serum. There's this little like diagram of a brain, and it only shows one part of it being lit up while the serum's kicking in, and it's the cerebellum, the thing that controls all your motor skills. Because if you're going to be more muscular and things are going to change there, you have to alter your brain. I'm glad they did that. That's a weird science thing that I think matters. And nobody else would notice, but I'm a freak. And I'm like, oh, look at that. That's cool as shit.
That's really cool.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
What happened to that version of Marvel?
Yeah. And like, speaking of old Marvel, so to speak, the scene with him chasing down the Hydra agent, I think also gives us a prime example of like how good the humor is in this movie, where it's always just like little subtle things. It's not like ever in your face. It's not like obviously what I'm referring to is when he goes to save the little kid who gets thrown over and he's just like, I'm good, go get him, and he starts to like swim away.
Yeah,
like that's such a nice little thing. Or like when he's being put into the chamber to like become the super soldier, and he's like, you think it's too late to go take a pee? Like that's funny. Like, that's good Marvel humor, as opposed to, you know, some of the misses from some of the later movies. Like, I appreciate the humor in this movie.
yeah.
Something that I found interesting with 2020, not 2020 Vision, but like the future installments, is there's a scene, and I'm jumping around here because it just popped in my head. There's this scene where like Peggy's really pissed that one of the secretaries is flirting with Steve, and flirting is a light term for it.
So she's literally making out with him, but yeah.
Yeah.
But also having the She-Hulk clip of where Bruce confirms that he had sex on the tour is so funny in like hindsight, because he's been active for that whole time. Now she's pissed about it, but had no like consideration for it.
Well, it's because he wasn't really around until then. That's why.
Yeah,
but like
there was multiple months of time in between there. There's one thing being jealous, like, it's easy to not be jealous of things you don't know happened. It's another thing entirely to literally watch it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it makes a lot of sense.
But we were shown that when he's away from her, he's like obsessed with her. But like he's like, yeah, but I can do this thing real quick.
Well, you know,
things happen.
Yeah,
things happen. Sure.
Listen, okay,
they
but
were
like, think
together.
about it.
Like,
I mean,
yes, he's obsessed with her, but it's also like a
No,
Right,
I know, but it's just this little tidbit that's from like a show years later that like
right, yeah, it's
when
Yeah.
you're watching it, like in the back of your head, you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
it's you,
Did
right?
Bruce actually say during the tour then?
1943 during the tour.
Huh.
Yeah.
also to that point, Grayson. Like, you got to consider this is someone who never once had attention from women. Like we see early on with the scene
Sure.
with him and Bucky on the double date. Those women do not care about Steve. They have no interest in Steve. And then he's touring. He's this big, muscular, like icon. I'm sure he had women that were
Right.
interested in him. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and talk down on myself, be like, speaking as someone who doesn't get a lot of attention, but like, you know, as a man, I understand where he's coming from.
No,
if,
real.
You know, if a woman was just like, you know, gave me attention in that situation, then like, sure, you know.
Well, and like
It's not like he was. It's not like he was in a relationship with her. He was just into
I'm
her.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
no,
well, and
I'm
it's
not
like the
sure.
whole. I mean, we're even shown that when he first interacts with Peggy, he's genuinely like, I don't have a fucking clue how to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like he just, because that's just never been a thing for him. So yeah, when he's
Yeah.
suddenly, you know, the Star Spangled Man with a plan.
I'm
God
not like
forbid.
criticizing him for it. I'm just saying it's a really funny tidbit when you're watching this movie, having that in the back of your head that during this tour, and it's probably that blonde woman who later plays Star-Lord's mom in the Guardian movies, but same lady. But I think like having it in the back of your head is quite funny.
Sure.
And also on the tours, to talk about something like a little bit more serious from this movie, I think it's really cool how they took the fact that Captain America, like Geek brought up earlier, was created as political propaganda. Like that is the origin of this character, was to show people like, hey, there's some bad things happening in Germany, and we should do something about it. And look, here's a cool guy that is doing things about it to show you how bad it is. And they take that and turn it on its head for this movie, realizing like we're in the present day, how harmful military propaganda can be, and going from like Captain America being like the cool, badass, you know, German fighter. I don't remember if I'm allowed to say the word for the soldiers from that country on here. I don't know how YouTube feels about that. Right.
Nazi.
But, you know, yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm not 12. I'm just going to call them German soldiers. You know, you don't get this like big brawly badass for a little while. You get a show horse who's walking around and doing stage productions and punching a fake Hitler, and like that's really cool. I thought that was really cool how they turned it and made it not like a complimentary thing, because it would have been very easy to fall into the trap.
Yeah. But that was also like a thing that we did back then. Like selling war bonds was a very like important part of the US being in any of those wars. And so there were these like shows and this really campy stuff that we would do to try to sell war bonds. And I love that it just became that's what Captain America is. He's just a stage act. Though I hate it because he's Captain America.
I think it's fitting though, because then that ends up tying into like his eventual grand distrust for the government, because he was shown like we get glimpses early of the government kind of using him, and then he gets out of the ice, realizes the government is even worse now. Because back then, like if the worst thing they were doing was dressing him up and making him do shows and be a little campy, then so be it, right? He was helping the boys out of the country, you know, over there. But then, you know, everything goes to shit.
I also think even earlier in the movie, we get his like distrust and like willingness to not follow orders during the flag scene. When it's fall in line and he's just like, no, I'm giving you this flag and I'm going because I'm sick of running. Fuck you.
I mean, it's also shown even before that, before he even joins the military, like he's continuously refusing the exception of, hey, you can't go out to fight in Germany. They're like, he's like, no, I'm going to continue to apply. I will fake my identity to get there. Like, I don't care what you guys say, which I think is like, again, it's this repetition that is, again, a younger viewer, like my younger self would not have seen, but now watching that, having that repetition shown not like in your face. It's never like it's never spelled out for you that he is going against the government in these ways. He's using his brain, which is often neglected in future films, that Captain America is this actually intelligent character who actually knows what the fuck he's doing all the time. And this movie shows it time and time again that he uses his brain constantly to get around the government's orders and do what's right.
Yeah, like to that point, and I know I keep saying like old Marvel versus new Marvel. I'm not somebody who thinks that Marvel movies suck now, but there is a clear difference in the way these movies are made and the way these stories are told between, you know, the I already forget the first phase and the most recent phase. But this movie does a really, really good job with the old rule of show don't tell with superheroes, whereas new Marvel, I feel, doesn't really do that very well. Because at no point in this movie are we ever told Steve Rogers is like smart, right? We know that he's scrappy, we see that he's got a big heart, but that one scene with the flag is such a good way to show us that, like, hey, this is also a smart dude. Like, he might not be common sense smart in the sense that he's actively trying to get himself killed by being a 5'2" manlet with asthma trying to enlist in the military, but he does have like smarts, and he's able to do something that none of the other soldiers are able to do with the flag, and I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, I love that scene. It's fantastically done.
I was gonna say another really, really good Captain America scene.
Yeah.
So I guess with the costume designer. Oh, go ahead. No, you can.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I want to talk about this because I really like the costume in this movie. This is my favorite Captain America costume.
Well, there's 3 costumes.
Say,
there's
the final one. The final
Okay.
one where he has like the mix of the like actual military guard with just his little bit of detail. For lack of better words, this version that I have sitting in front of me at my desk at all times. This is my favorite Captain America suit ever.
I
It's
love that
perfect.
suit.
That's crazy.
It's perfect.
What suit's better, Geek?
Endgame, because it actually has the scales.
I don't hate it. Like, yeah, the Endgame one's great too. I'm just biased. Like, I will fully say my opinion's biased.
You want to know my weird take? Because Miller won't be here for this episode, and I feel like bringing it up while he's here.
Are you going to say the Nomad suit?
No. I do like that suit, but that's also not a Captain America suit, technically, so I'm not.
Sure.
I am one of the like 4 people who really like the Age of Ultron suit.
I don't even remember what that looks like.
I think the Age of Ultron suit's fine. I think the problem is the Avenger, like the first Avenger suit sucks.
That one, yes. That one does kind of suck. You're right. No, a lot of people don't like the Age of Ultron suit. The first Avenger, like the Avengers 1 suit is bad.
Isn't that just like the one that looks like 1940s Captain America, like in the comics?
But it looks like he's like vacuum sealed into it.
It does the like Christian Bale Batman thing with the cowl that's really gross and awful.
Oh yeah, I see now. Okay, yeah.
Like they do my favorite Marvel trope in this movie, where it's like they do something really early on or just in a singular scene where they do a callback to the original costume, but it's really cheaply made for whatever reason. Like Wanda and Vision just for the Halloween episode, they have their like OG costume. I love them doing that at the very beginning with his like sweater costume. It's great.
Yeah. Also, people don't like the Age of Ultron suit.
I've seen a lot of people not like it for some reason.
This is just like the natural progression of this suit that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like it's just a less
I just like how bright the
version
colors are, but that's because I'm a weirdo.
Which is fair. That's fair. As goofy as it sounds, like I like the one from this movie because of how militarized it is, because I really like the idea of Captain America just being a soldier who just happens to be bigger, stronger, more athletic, etc.
That's why my favorite suit in this movie is the like fake suit when he goes to save everybody, and he's got the jacket on and then regular cargo pants, but he's got the like sweater underneath, so you still have the star, and then he's got the helmet that isn't protecting shit because that was a fake helmet for a stage dancer, but whatever.
I love that he does the stage actors.
Yeah. It's also baller.
It's so dumb.
I love having the little scene of her being like, I can't find my helmet.
Yeah. Again, good Marvel humor.
Yeah.
Just a subtle little throwaway line.
Yeah. No, I like this. This is my favorite Captain America suit, much like Miller. Like it's such a good mesh of the two ideas where like I'm never one to be like you have to be comic accurate, but like meshing the two where it's the comic is clearly seen there, but also putting in like useful details for like the era and like like mobility. It makes sense to mesh those two together. And it worked here so well. I like the stealth suit, like in 2014's Winter Soldier, but like it's also very muted. It's very like, wow, you both don't like that. Holy shit,
No,
that was a
boring.
If you want to do the
no.
muted boring, just do the nomad suit. It's better.
Yeah.
Like it's better in every way.
I just has that silver star. Like it's like the Batman thing where you can just see his like emblem or his eyes.
But see,
like, Captain
I
America,
don't-
just see the star.
I don't like that for Cap. Like I don't really like the nomad suit the way it looks. I like it for the purpose it serves because I understand he's trying to separate himself from the United States. That's awesome. That's cool. But like in my mind, Captain America suits should be colorful. They should be bright. It's much like Superman, where like it needs to be a little corny. It needs to be a little Boy Scout like because that is the character. This isn't Batman. This isn't Iron Man. This is the cornball.
And that's why I hate, as Marvel has progressed, specifically for Cap after this movie, and really after Avengers 1, this everything has to be muted and subtle thing sucks, especially for Cap. And I love that they've changed that direction now with Sam.
Yeah.
But it sucks because the Endgame suit, like with the way it's set up, but with the colors of this suit would have been the best suit ever. Maybe for any character ever. Like just give the Age of Ultron colors to that suit and it is incredible.
Yeah, it's up there with like Deadpool and Wolverine from Deadpool and Wolverine. The way they're
Yes. So,
but no, I like on that topic. I love how unashamedly corny Chris Evans's performance is. I'm trying to say for a second there. Like it's the same idea as like David Corn's with Superman that just came out over the summer. Like how unashamedly corny he is, and obviously it's not to the same extent of like what the hey dude or anything like that. But even for that time, when in the 40s everyone was a little corny by our standards, right? They spoke differently, they acted differently. Even by those standards, he still stands out as wearing his heart on his sleeve, being earnest, being unapologetically himself throughout the movie. And I love that because that is Captain America through and through. Like he is meant to be a corny, earnest character. And they absolutely nailed that. They nailed that. And I feel like he loses that a little bit in some of the later movies where they try to make him a little stoic. And I don't love that direction.
dude, what is happening?
Discord hates us. That's what's happening.
I think Discord hates Miller is the very specific answer so far.
Mm-hmm.
Miller, what did you do to the Discord devs?
Kill them, apparently.
Seems like it.
They want me to be homeless. That's crazy.
Apparently. Yeah, so what do you guys think about this version of the Red Skull?
When I'm not watching the movie actively, I always want to like pretend that this is a really good MCU villain, because that's kind of, in my opinion, where Marvel has always lacked is their villains, at least like on a grand scale. Like obviously there are some standouts, right? But this rendition of the Red Skull has so much wasted potential to the point where like when he comes back to Endgame, it's a different actor doing something completely different, and like no one notices in the moment. It just shows you how forgettable this version of the character is.
I think, well, the Marvel villains thing is tough. I think part of it is because they get rid of the villain after one movie every time, which is stupid. Like, they're supposed to be around and doing things and mattering. Like, getting rid of Ultron after one movie was dumb. Getting rid of Red Skull after one movie is dumb. The issue is, this doesn't feel like the Red Skull. Like, in the comics, he is very much on Germany's side and very, very much agrees with, Hitler, and is very, like, that's part of the thing, is like his biggest enemy is like the guy who looks like what he thinks is perfect, and like that's a whole thing. And instead, he actively kills more German soldiers than anyone else in this movie, and is like weirdly anti. And it's like, that's not the Red Skull, though. Like, you got a lot of the occult stuff right with him, because that was the thing. A lot of the religious and occult stuff, you did that very well. But you just decided that you didn't want your main villain to be on the side of the villains too much, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird using the German villain in a German villain movie and not having him associate with the German villains for no reason. Like, if you want to solidify a bad guy, just make him the history's ultimate bad guy. Like, there's no like, just why are we skirting around the fact that your villain is actually against the history's biggest villains? There's no reason for it.
See, I think they could have done that. Like, I think that concept could work. The idea of someone being like, I can do this better than Hitler. I have bigger, grander plans to do something great. But like Geek said, you get one movie to establish that and walk through their process and see how they want to do it. And you can't do that. That's just way too much. When you're already trying to do a Captain America origin story that has a love interest and his relationship with Bucky and his relationship with Dr. Erskine and his personal character arc and, commentary about World War II. You have so many things going on in this movie that concept just doesn't have the room to breathe or the room to like develop the way it needs to. I feel like a better way they could have done it, or like in a perfect world where you can make more than one movie about Captain America set World War II, right? I feel like you start out with him being on the side of the German army, like 100% unashamedly, and then he gets beat by Captain America, and he sees like the German troops retreating because Captain America and US soldiers are like kicking their ass, and then he's like, wait, no, you guys are weak, this is pathetic, we can be so much better. And then in a follow-up movie you start to see him kind of turn away from that and become the kind of like branch off of the German army as opposed to being perfectly in line with them. But obviously we couldn't have that.
I think you could have done that in this movie to a lesser extent, of course, because you don't have time to breathe. After the montage of Captain America literally like ruining the German army, and then him being like, "This isn't working. We're like the guy Hitler's thing isn't working. I need to admit now to step up. This is now my army now." Instead of having like I said, it doesn't have time to breathe in the first place. They can't flesh out that idea. If this is a 2.5-hour film, sure, but it's restricted to that 2-hour mark. I don't know if it hits that 2-hour mark. Does it?
Yeah, it's a little over 2 hours. It's like 2:07, I think. But no, I really do like the idea of like the villain who has bigger ambitions than his boss or the big bad at the top. But they just didn't have the time to really pull it off effectively. Instead, it seems like we're walking into a plan that's already started, and we're not given the context as to why it started, other than I'm evil and I want power, which can work, but it just doesn't land in this movie, in my opinion.
I mean, if I were to put in the give the benefit of the doubt to Marvel goggles, that could be a commentary on how America walked into World War II. Whereas like this wasn't our business, and then we walked in. I'm not going to give them the benefit.
I was gonna say I can't imagine that was the intent, and if it was,
No,
I feel
it
like they did a
definitely
very ham-fisted job of attempting it anyways. So
No, you're absolutely right. But like I was thinking about it, like you could, but that's just
right.
that's actually just bullshit. Geek, how do you feel about Red Skull?
Well, I kind of went over that to start this.
You know,
I kind of started this by giving my opinion.
Well, yeah, but like I wanted to, if you wanted to add on to the conversation.
I think, as with basically every movie, they should have kept the villain alive because that's how superhero movies are supposed to work. That's why comics work.
You see, they did both the villains actually.
No.
Yeah, and then they butchered the way they were brought back in both instances,
And
I feel.
Technically, the Red Skull wasn't alive. He became a different entity altogether, which is a whole other thing, which means the Red Skull was dead. And fine. What is that guy's name?
Zola, Arnim Zola.
Zola was still alive, but who cares?
Yeah. I was because he gets brought back for what, one scene in which movie?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is in Winter Soldier, and it's for a whole 5 minutes, and he's like, haha, I'm still alive, and then he dies.
Yeah, and here's this thing you should probably maybe think about.
Yeah.
But only if you've paid super close attention, otherwise nobody else will know what's going on, because this doesn't matter, and we've given you no actual knowledge.
He became a plot device.
Yeah.
They reduced both villains from this movie to plot devices in other movies.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't, because I feel like I could have done some really cool things. Like, honestly, the concept of the Captain America, like the Steve Rogers Captain America trilogy, at some point them finding out that the Red Skull is still alive in some capacity and running Hydra behind the scenes, which has now infiltrated the US government, would have been a sick storyline.
Imagine like the reveal at the very end of Civil War of just like a screen with Red Skull on it and just one line. I don't know what it would have been, but just one line about how it was his master plan and he will still figure it out. Like, that would have cooked. And you never even have to use him again. You just keep the idea that he exists, because in a universe like this, you need your villains around. You can't constantly be trying to come up with new villains.
In a perfect world.
But, how's that worked out so far?
If Marvel had the rights to X-Men, in a perfect world, Magneto would be the one to kill Red Skull.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think
it's always how Red Skull should die. I'm sorry. That's always how it should happen.
Well, I mean, not having nearly as much knowledge of Red Skull in the comics as you guys do, I think something else cool they could have done is, like, if they go that route, right? He shows up at the end of Civil War, has one line, even if it's not like explaining this has been his master plan, just like a hello, Captain Rogers, just like something like that, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, he's been the one behind it all. Yeah. Later on, with Sam as Captain America, he gets to finish that off. I think that would have been baller as hell. Or, you know, even if it's not like literally Sam kills Red Skull, but like, you know, getting him thrown in a prison or just defeating him, like finishing that off would have been really cool.
I think that is part of why, and this is going to get brought up every time we talk about the MCU, but I think that's part of why there's like the conversation about the like reset of the universe post Secret Wars, which, I mean, if you were ever going to do it, Secret Wars is the perfect time. That's literally when they do it in the comics. So like, cool. But like, I think that's part of why is they realize their mistake with villains and they're like, we can do this better.
Oh yeah.
It's also why I've talked about the DCU, why it feels a little better immediately, and it's because they're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Which they've had, 20 years of watching the MCU do it to go, oh, here's what you do and don't do. And you're still going to fuck up because that's how making things works, but it's good to learn from others' failures.
I was going to say, as corny as it sounds, I feel like every time I come on here, we end up talking about the game that I DM for you guys, playing D&D.
As we should.
But, like, one of the main reasons why in that game I have multiple villains that, sure, they all work under, like, one central villain, but I have multiple villains that continue to do different things and aren't just, like, one-offs or whatever, is because I've seen how bad that goes over in the MCU and how annoying it is to be like, oh, that's a cool concept that existed for 120 minutes that I'll never see again. It's so frustrating to watch the way they handle that kind of stuff, to the point where it has literally influenced the way I run my villains in D&D. And Red Skull is a prime example of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It would be cool to have him haunt the narrative for Steve's trilogy or for that, but like, no, that's no fun.
And speaking of haunting narratives, if you don't mind me pivoting here for a second, something else with this movie that I feel like is complete wasted potential, that is like kind of touched on a little bit, but doesn't get nearly as much time as it should, is Steve's adjustment from living in the 40s to living in the present day, where we get like a little scene here or there. Like we got the him and Sam, where Sam's telling us stuff and he's writing it down in his book, and then like him going to visit old Peggy. But like we don't see him checking up on the Howling Commandos. We don't see like finding out what happened to them, ever going to like find out their military records if they passed in battle, whatever. We don't ever see him going to check up on anybody else. We don't ever see him like interacting with things from the 40s or like talking about the trauma or the stress of it. Whereas at the end of this movie, it like seems very much as that's going to be a big thing for Cap, where like immediately he's like ready to have a panic attack as he's waking up almost 70 years later, talking about the dance that, or the dance that he missed with Peggy. And I know there's a deleted scene from, I think, The Winter Soldier, where they went into that a little bit more, and they ended up cutting it. Like he goes to get coffee somewhere, and then he goes back to his apartment, and you see he has like a bunch of files of things from the 40s and from the war. And I can't remember if it's files or newspapers. It's something. He has something that's like showing that he's kind of sitting over in the background. And it really bothers me that wasn't explored more with him. Because I feel like that's such an interesting thing.
Well, even like Bucky's death, we hang on to it for a few minutes here, like in this movie, but then after that, it's kind of just like forgotten about. Like so much so where that movie kind of like throws Bucky onto you, like once he gets revealed, you're like, oh yeah, remember Bucky, who died in the last movie? It never like It's never like Steve going to the museum and like he finds out a little bit about what happens, but like we're not like explicitly told, or he's not like mourning. He's just kind of there to, and like, why am I being idolized or whatever? But like we never get like more information outside this movie about like Bucky until Bucky's revealed.
I was gonna say we get the scene of him like the really shitty morning scene, because he's trying to get drunk and he's just like, I can't. It's one of the problems. Being a super soldier, I can't get drunk. And that's like it, which is really weird. I don't know. Mourn your friends better. I don't know.
Yeah. I found the scene I was talking about. It was supposed to be in the Avengers, and it says Steve Rogers is seen watching a World War II documentary on a laptop. He then looks at a file that includes the status of Peggy Carter and the Howling Commandos. In that file, Bucky Barnes is listed as missing in action. Peggy is still alive with her address and telephone number on her file, but Rogers decides not to call her. He later walks through the city, bewildered by this new modern world that he is now in, and eats at a diner and speaks to a waitress. A patron patron urges Rogers to ask the waitress out. Later, Rogers takes a monorail train to the gym and starts beating up punching bags in frustration. That would have been such a great scene to go along with what I was talking about. I can't believe that got cut from the Avengers.
I think it's the Ashley Johnson scene, is that not?
I was gonna say because they kept the at least some of the waitress scene and the punching bag scene. So like
they cut the part that like that
matters?
the important part, at least in my opinion. Yeah, the part of him like showing that he's still thinking about the war, even if he's not, actively bringing it up or whatever. I hate the wasted potential. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Which is a crazy thing to say about a movie that we're all sitting here like, I love this movie, but it's also like, it could have been so much better.
Right. I was going to say the movie itself is incredible. Like in a vacuum, I've told you guys many times before, this is my favorite MCU movie. I think it is the best MCU movie. It's just frustrating because it feels like they could have taken so much more from it into the future that they just don't or didn't.
Best? Like, I get favorite. Like, it makes sense. The best?
I think it's the best, yeah. Because in my opinion, if I'm going to evaluate the best MCU movie, I want to look at it as a movie, not just as a part of a franchise. Okay. And like all of the other big MCU movies, they feel like you have to have something going into them. Like Endgame, Infinity War, for example, that movie wouldn't be nearly as good if we didn't have all of the build-up for these characters. The Avengers, I think, sits on its own. I really like the Avengers. I know some people have opinions on that. But just like in a vacuum, this is a movie that if you either are okay with the end just being you have to assume that Steve goes on to live a happy life in the future type thing. Mm-hmm. Or if you just like trim off the part after he crashes the jet, then I think this would be a really good movie on its own, just like with nothing else around it. But I don't know. I love this movie. Like I said, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, period. Yeah. Like not just MCU, but in general. And I think it's a great movie.
No, I was just asking I wanted to ask for clarification just because like some people, when they talk about the best MCU movie, they don't like sometimes they like because it's like they like Infinity War because it connects to Endgame and it's like this climactic build and this ending that just is just shocking and all like. And I just wanted to ask your clarification on how you're classifying the best MCU movie.
Like I said, if I'm considering what is going to be the best movie in this franchise specifically with so many movies in it, I want to see how it stands on its own. And I don't think Infinity War and Endgame, as good as they are, could stand on their own because they just wouldn't hit nearly as hard without the build-up. At least in my opinion.
The two that I have over it are Thunderbolts and Winter Soldier. I like Winter Soldier a bit more, but
is
for
fair.
The same reasons, because those movies you don't need to know anything going in. Does it help? Sure. But you don't need to have had any previous information. They pretty much spell it out for you.
Yeah. And the reason I was going to say the reason I like this more than Winter Soldier, because I know that's the consensus best Captain America movie, is just because I'm a sucker for a period piece. Yeah. Like I love that this all takes place in the 1940s. I think that's awesome. And as good as Winter Soldier is, I prefer this one.
I think Winter Soldier has the better Cap speech.
Which is fair. I don't disagree with that.
You're my you have to be the best person in our friend group to bring this up to. Who's better at giving speeches, Optimus Prime or Captain America?
Are we talking solely MCU Captain America or Captain America in general?
Okay. We're going to do this two ways. Everything for both, and then MCU and Bayverse specifically also.
Oh, you're
so it's two different ones. Yeah.
If we're talking everything in general, I'm going Prime all day, every day. Because Optimus Prime has, even outside of the movies, like the cartoon and some of the IDW comics, some of the things he has said are immaculate.
Sure.
If we're going MCU versus Bayverse, though, I want to say Cap, just because I know everything coming from Bayverse, Optimus Prime is coming from a tradition of the character,
Yeah.
whereas MCU Cap is a very good adaptation of that character.
Also,
Like, I was on here to file my grievances with Bayverse Prime. As much as I love it, I also hate it. Whereas, I mean, this is Captain America through and through.
and the problem with Bayverse Prime, I don't know that much about the Transformers, but I mean, when it comes to the rousing speeches, most of them happen at the end of the movie after the battle.
Yeah.
And it's like, that didn't do anything. Where, like, it actively feels like Caps matter. Because it's like, it's getting people to do something to help him in a big moment. Whereas Primes are just like, I already won, but we need help. It's like, yeah, all right, man.
Prime's really cared about Linkin Park. Let's be real.
He was getting carried. Nah.
I don't agree with that point. I think you have that.
Switch it to a worse song, and nobody cares. Without what I've done, nobody cares.
I disagree. The we are here, we are waiting. It's so good.
Yeah, but so like, go listen to that with like. I'm trying to think of a mid song from that timeline. My brain's not working. I got nothing.
It's almost like if you take any scene from any movie and take the music that was specifically chosen to back that scene and replace it with a different song, it would be worse.
Not every time. Sometimes it would be better.
Sure, sometimes, but like, typically speaking, a song is chosen for a specific moment because it fits the specific moment perfectly. Imagine if you took the score from behind Captain America's speeches and replaced it with like pink fluffy unicorns.
I think it works still.
Probably. I think it would give it a different meaning.
Oh, definitely.
Give him the Imperial March and see what happens.
Well, then he's just... say, we're talking
Captain Hydra.
What is that Ultimate? That's not the Ultimates universe, is it?
That was main line. That was 616.
Okay.
Which one?
Captain Hydra, where they did the he's always been a Hydra agent the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did some things at certain points.
Yeah. Ultimate Captain America is just like from the jump, he doesn't like the government. It's like super. It's almost like if they made this movie in 2007, where it's like super gritty and dark, and he's like super serious and stoic, and that's what Ultimate Captain America is. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I haven't actually read the Ultimates comics. I'm going off of what I've seen.
I have one of them, and it's the one where Hulk goes on a horny rampage.
Oh. I was gonna say, my knowledge of the Ultimates is that people don't like them very much, except for Miles Morales.
Yeah, basically.
Because that's where he came from, right?
Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man's the only good thing that come from the first Ultimate universe. The second one's actually pretty good. They get rid of it for a reason.
Gotcha.
Because that makes sense.
I didn't know I didn't know there were two Ultimate universes.
Yeah, they just came back with one like a year and a half ago, and then they're canning it, even though it's doing really well.
Oh wait, is the new Ultimates universe the one where Peter Parker's a cuck?
No, that's the 616 still. Ultimate Universe is where he got his powers when he was older, and he's happy with Mary Jane. He's got kids. Like it's the one where people actually appreciate Peter Parker being happy for once.
Okay.
And instead of making him a cuck.
Then is the original Ultimates the one where they did the incest with Scarlet Witch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Elizabeth and Daisy.
What?
Where they're like, it's like the Iris West situation with like Barry and Flash, where they're adopted siblings essentially, because Peter's parents died, and the original Ultimate Universe is really weird. Even with Spider-Man, it's better with Spider-Man, but not great.
Yeah,
no one likes the original Ultimate.
Yeah, I like I said, I got that. I was just trying to make sure I was thinking of the right thing coming out
You
of
are. Correct. Anyways, you guys have anything else to talk about for the Captain America, the first Avenger, TFA, Transformers, something?
I just want to bring him up because I don't think he's been brought up once in this movie or in this recording, and he needs to be. Tommy Lee Jones is so good in this movie.
Yeah.
He's so incredible in this movie.
I feel like
his line delivery at the end when Cap's about to get on the jet and he just goes, "I ain't gonna kiss you."
Oh god, it's so good.
Best
should
line
be
in the movie.
it should be the title for this episode. Because it's such a good line delivery.
I mean, perfect, absolutely perfect. He's great in that movie.
He is very good.
Him and Stanley Tucci. I can't remember who played Dr. Erskine for a second.
Yeah.
I always forget
Both of
Stanley
them.
Tucci because of the makeup and the accent.
Both of
I'm like,
them. Honestly,
Yeah.
everyone across the board does great. Haley Atwell's great in this movie.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of the guy who plays Tony's dad, but he's great in this as well.
Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, he's really good in this too. He's a great side character.
Hugo Weaving did pretty good.
Fondue.
Oh yeah, with what he was given, I thought his performance was very good. He was very diabolical.
Yes.
Like that again, to the point of Red Skull, right? That opening scene where he's threatening the guy and talking about the world tree. I always forget its name.
Yggdrasil.
Is it Yggdrasil?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Like that scene is so perfect. Like every time I watch the movie, I'm watching that and I'm like, oh, okay, we're here. We're here. And then the rest of the movie happens like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
I do love that they allude to Howard and Peggy getting together. They fondue together.
Yeah.
And it just being Steve not understanding what the hell fondue is.
Again, good MCU humor.
Yeah.
That's a great bit.
What about you
It's
and
fantastic.
Mr. Zerg? You fondue?
If that happened in a Marvel movie that came out in the last 5 years, that conversation would have lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Of him being like, you guys fondue?
PG fondue?
Yeah. I want. What?
You want fondue?
What are you? What the fuck? No, you
I asked
keep
you-
cutting
you
out, Dum
fondue.
Dum.
Oh, I love that. I was asking if you fondue.
No.
Have you ever fondue?
Also, shout out Dum Dum Dugan.
He always plays a villain in everything. And
Neil
I love his reason for doing it. Because apparently villains don't really have romantic interests. He doesn't want to kiss anyone but his wife. So he always plays villains or side characters that don't have romantic intentions, and I love that.
Yeah.
Let's call her.
It makes me happy that there's love in the world.
It's really funny. But yeah, Dum Dum Dugan.
Goated.
Very
I like
random
Avengers was
poll.
fun.
Yes.
I feel like just for the sake of talking about her, because I feel like we really didn't. How did you guys feel about Peggy in this movie?
Like,
Just like as a character, do you have any thoughts about her character in this movie? Just because we didn't
Peggy-
really talk about her, she's pretty central to the story.
Peggy's if man, if anything in this movie. There's so much setup with her character, and she's charming. She's super charming, but there's not a lot of depth to her. In the movie. I don't understand why people are back when Endgame was made, we're begging for them to get back together in some form or fashion. I just don't understand it. She's very much if man when it comes to characters.
Well, they
especially
were
in this
begging
movie.
for them to get back together because they just think that's sweet. Like,
Yeah.
Sure,
and like
but there's
Steve
not-
has shown that he's in love with her through every other movie. So yes, people want them to get back together. The reason, but the other reason people fall in love with Peggy is Agents of Shield. Go watch
Yeah.
Agents of Shield.
See, I never watched Agents of Shield. That's why
Go
I
watch
like them.
Agents of Shield.
I don't have to go watch Game of Thrones. Don't make me go watch another show.
I wouldn't say she's fully if man. Like we see her establish herself a few times in this movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like pretty early on when they introduce her and she knocks that one douchebag soldier down a peg.
And
like that's a great scene.
I love the way she does it too, because like if you like the like giving him every opportunity, you know, put this foot forward so you have a steadier base. So when I hit you, you might not get knocked to the ground. You have a chance. Like she tried to give him every advantage to not get embarrassed, and then he did anyways, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's not charming. That's her main appeal. She's a very charming character. I just don't know if there's a lot of depth to her character, especially in this movie.
I think there is. I think there's the thing is it's again it's a period piece, right?
Yeah.
It's a World War II period piece. And as unfortunate as it sounds, it's not like they can just sit and lie and be like, oh yeah, you know, this woman character, she's on the front lines, she's doing her thing, she's doing all this badass like boots on the ground soldier stuff, she's stuck behind the scenes, and we're shown that she is just as if not more capable than a lot of the people who are on the front lines, whether it be that scene or we see her ability with a handgun later on when Steve is like trying out the shields and she shoots at him, and like just her wits in general. Her wit in general throughout the movie, or like her craftiness, like when she's able to get Steve and Howard on the plane and drop Steve in the enemy territory by going, I don't know what this, by going under the table, like not going with orders, going against what they were told to do. Like, I don't think we need to be putting her in Megami conversations. I think that's a little far.
It's because you can see where they can go with it, and the fact that they don't give her much for personal motivation. She's kind of, because we have to be with Steve when she's on the screen. And that's the problem, is that we don't get enough time with her personally to find out more about her. But you can see the lines, the pencil markings of what could be, and that's why in this movie, and that's why I'm saying she's more if man because of this, because we don't see her in the mainstream MCU.
Listen, I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
But she's not the main character of the movie, so she's not going to get as much development as Captain America.
I'm not saying she has the same amount of development. I'm saying that we don't get any personal motivation from her at all.
I think the fact that she is a woman going toe-to-toe with men in the 1940s tells you all you need to know about her personal motivation. And that's that she's trying to prove herself just as Steve is, and that's one of the reasons why she clicks with him so well.
Well, yeah, but again, it's through Steve. All the things you get is through Steve. You have some characters that have things that are not associated with our main character, and that's why again, I see the pencil markings. I see where we can go with this character. It's just that since we don't get enough of her in the main continuity, besides What If, and then her dying, it's kind of like we could have done stuff with her that would have been fun, but again, that's for Agent Carter stuff, and for Agent of the Shield, it's like, okay.
I was gonna say, if we're looking at this from the perspective of they're setting up a side character to do something with her later, I think they did a great job of that, because you are laying out the framework to then build upon, which they do in Agents of Shield, or not Agents of Shield, Agent Carter. Whichever one. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm going off Geek's word.
That's the thing. It's the canon type for dealing with like Star Wars Vision stuff, where it's like you don't really need to watch it if you don't like.
Well,
matter.
Back then it wasn't canon, but they basically made all of it canon now. So.
Well, that's the thing. It's like now we're 10 years later. It's like, oh, now I have to go back.
Also, on a Star Wars note, if you're not watching Star Wars Visions, you're missing out. It is.
I was throwing out the one show I knew that wasn't like completely canon. So
I know, but you need to watch it. It is so.
It's
good.
Fantastic.
But no, like I like her at this movie. I think she's given a lot to do. I think what she does with it is good, and I really like Haley Atwell's performance. I think, as Grayson has said like 6 times now, she is very charming. And it comes off very well in this movie.
Yeah. We extended the episode by over 10 minutes there. Good work.
I just wanted to make sure we talked about her because we like
that's
completely
fair.
skipped over, and that felt
Hey, I brought her up
undeserved. That felt.
like an hour
I
ago.
don't know what anyone's brought up because of Discord.
That's fair. Discord has been a hater. This is the episode of
Yeah.
all time.
This be so fun to edit
Sucks.
TikToks for.
No.
Oh, I love that. But next week, we talk about Captain Marvel, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we talk about Captain Marvel next week. Remember, like, subscribe to whatever podcast format you prefer. And until then, bye-bye.